Hey everyone, Sinead here. I just want to talk to you about ultra running and why I'm a different ultra runner to most other runners. So what is ultra running? Well, ultra running is any distance beyond marathon distance. So beyond 50k, 100k, 100 mile, 12-hour race, 24-hour race, etc. So what would my main events be? Well, my main events would be 12-hour events or 24-hour. Now, I suppose I'm limited in a certain extent because I'm visually impaired. As you might see from the video, my eyes are small. I was born visually impaired. I just have 5% vision, and so I have 4 eye conditions: aniridia, coloboma, nystagmus and glaucoma. So I got onto the women's Irish team, and I was at the World Championships in 24-hour ultra running last October, representing Ireland. It was a bit of a battle to get there, but that's another video and another story in itself. I've run 7 marathons on 7 continents within 7 days. Yes, you heard right. That's 7 marathons, 7 continents within 7 days, 6 days, 9 hours to be exact. That's the World Marathon Challenge. It's an event organised by Richard Donovan, a Galway man. So how did that work? Well, the first marathon was in Antarctica. The next marathon was in Chile. The next marathon was in Miami. The next marathon was in Madrid. Well done. The next marathon was in Marrakesh. The next marathon was Dubai. And finally then Sydney. So I did that in January 2017, and I became the first blind person to do 7 marathons, 7 continents within 7 days. I'm also the first Irish female to do the World Marathon Challenge. And as well as that, I currently hold the Guinness World Record for furthest distance for any female on a treadmill in 12 hours. So that's furthest distance for any female. So put disability aside. So I got that record in February 2018, and my distance for that was on the treadmill was 130.5 kilometers. So you have to have a strong mindset, and I suppose when you're visually impaired like me, when you have only 5% vision, it requires extra mindset and extra strength within the mind. How did I get into running? Well, I got into running by being asked to do a 10k for charity. I was never involved in sport as a child. I didn't take up running until age 30. And that was back in 2012 when, as I say, I was asked to do a 10k for charity. Didn't have a clue what a 10k was, just said yes because I wanted to raise money for the charity. It was for a charity of blind children, or children who are blind. So I said yes and did my 10k, did the first 10k in 55 minutes, raised €2,000 for the charity at the time, and since then my confidence has grown and grown and grown in running to the point where I ended up getting to wear the Irish singlet and represent Ireland. So I suppose my message would be that anything is possible, and if I can achieve what I've achieved in ultra running with just 5% vision, so can you. The most important thing for me is guide runners, and I'm very thankful I have a good, close, supportive crew in terms of guide runners. So there's Louis, John and Philip, and then last October at the World Championships, Ed guided me and Gillian guided me. So I suppose for me, I'm depending on them. I'd love to be able to go out and train and do races myself, but it's not possible. So I suppose there's no point dwelling on the things I can't do. I might as well just focus on my strengths, and I suppose I'd say that to any of the people there listening to this video. In terms of running, focus on your strengths. With me, I mostly focus on 24-hour events. So what is that? Well, a 24-hour event is a time-based event, so it's whoever can achieve the most distance in the 24-hour period. A lot of people would ask, can you stop to go to the toilet? Can you stop to eat? Of course you can do those things, but at the end of the day, if you're going to keep stopping all the time, and if you're going to be in and out to the bathroom, and if you're going to be taking naps, which some ultra runners do in these races, you're not going to be in the top 5, and you're certainly not going to be in the top 3. And I suppose when I go out to race 12-hour races or 24-hour races, I want to be in the top 5 and the top 3. I have done 3 12-hour track races, and in each of those 3 12-hour track races I've come second female. Coming second female now is getting quite boring. Yeah, so it'd be good to come first at some stage, but I suppose whether you're coming first, second, third, whatever, you should go out into that race knowing that you give it your all, and that you've put every effort into the training and into the race. And I suppose with me, I know what my weaknesses are, I know what my strengths are, and I try and focus on my strengths, and I also try and focus on my weaknesses as well, to try and see, can I alleviate them to a certain extent. How did I get the place to get on the women's Irish team to represent Ireland? Well, you have to get, in Ireland, you have to get above 200 kilometres, and I got that in April 2019. It was actually this time last year at Crawley in the UK. That was a 24-hour track race, and I achieved 204.6 kilometres. So in each country they'll have different standards, minimum standards that women and men have to achieve, and in Ireland the minimum standard for women to be eligible for selection for the women's team is 200 kilometres, so I achieved that. I suppose it was a very big thing for me to achieve it, because when you come from a situation of never being involved in sports as a child and being severely bullied as a child due to my disability, you never actually think that you can get to represent your country. How did I get to do that? Well, I got to do that through the support of my guide runners and my run coach. None of us do life by ourselves, and that's why we need a really, really strong team around us. So that's mainly just what I kind of want to briefly in this video talk about in terms of ultra running. I'd love to hear any of your questions, whether it's questions about the World Marathon Challenge and how I got on in that and how I got on in Antarctica, or whether it's questions about my journey of ultra running and how I prepare for races, etc. So you might send some questions or some comments, or you can follow me on any of my social media channels. On Instagram it's at Kane Sinead 777. On Twitter it's Kane Sinead. On Facebook it's Sinead Kane, speaker and ultra runner. So you'll find me, just type my name, Sinead Kane, Kane, into Google. And I'd love to hear your questions. Okay, thanks guys, bye. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.